Hey guys, it's Paul here with Gear Test TV, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the AWS-2000 wireless system from Senal. So I'm here with the AWS-2000, which is a wireless transmitter and receiver system. This is the receiver here, and it is small, as you can tell. It's battery powered, and that's all because it's made to be able to mount on the hot shoe of a camera. I have it on the hot shoe mount at the moment, but the hot shoe mount does have a 3/8 thread in the bottom, so I'm able to just mount it on a mic stand like you see here. And then I'm also wearing the transmitter body pack, so the audio that you're hearing right now is running through this system. And I'm using that all with the Senal UTM-86, which is this lavalier microphone. So I'm not going to do any post-processing or filtering or noise reduction, any cleanup at all with this audio, so that throughout the whole video you can hear the raw audio from the system, and it's just all being recorded into a Zoom field recorder. So right off the bat, I was really impressed with the build quality of this system as soon as I pulled it out of the box, and that's primarily because it is a metal construction. I've had other systems that are similar to this that were just entirely plastic construction, and they just felt light and cheap. They just kind of felt like a toy. These feel nice and solid. They do have a little bit of plastic at the front and the back, but overall they feel nice and solid. So I'll just kind of start by talking about the receiver system. And the first thing that you're probably going to notice is this OLED screen at the front. And if you're seeing any jittery stuff or scan lines at the moment on this little screen, it's all because of the shutter of the camera. The screen itself is perfectly fine. But there is the screen and there are two LED indicators. And I really like that those are both at the front of the pack, because typically I'm in a situation where I'm filming myself. So if I have this mounted on top of the camera, from standing in front of the camera, I can see everything pretty clearly. And for example, I have just turned off the transmitter pack, so you're listening to the camera audio at the moment, but you can see that the indicator here has turned red, and I'll turn this back on. Okay, and that should all be connected. You should be back to hearing the lavalier microphone now. I like that the screen here displays the transmitter battery and the receiver battery, and then it also shows the audio level coming in from the transmitter. Next to that, you'll notice there's an antenna on both sides, and then the only other thing happening at the front here is there's a button and then there's a small infrared screen. If you notice on the transmitter on the side of the pack, there's another little infrared screen here. And the great thing about this system is, say when you get to a shoot in a new place and frequencies are different all over the place, but you can just point the two screens where they can see each other. And this may cut out, so I may have to cut back to the camera audio for a minute. But if I just hold down this button for a minute, it says scanning. So right now it's scanning from the receiver to the transmitter, and it's also detecting all of the nearby frequencies. It finds a clear channel, and now it says synced, and it's all back connected on a clear channel. So now I'll spin this around so that you can kind of see this side. There's just a power button, there's a set button, and then there are two volume buttons. This is also how you would access and navigate the menu, but I'll kind of go a little more in depth into the menu layout a little bit later in the video. So I'm just going to spin this around to the back here, and now you can see there's a battery door. That's where it takes two AA batteries for power. Or right next to that, there is a micro USB port so that you can power this system with USB power. So if you want to plug it into the wall, or if you have a battery bank just like you would use to charge your phone, you can power this system with that, which is a really nice option for if you run out of AA batteries, their batteries die, or if you're just going to be filming for a longer period of time, you can plug it in, power it through USB, and you know that you're good for the entire day. Right next to that is the main output. It's a 3.5 millimeter connection, and I love that it is a locking 3.5 millimeter connection. I'm currently using the 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter cable, which comes with the system, but it also comes with the locking 3.5 millimeter to XLR adapter. So if you are using a field recorder like a, say a Zoom H4n or anything that you need to use XLR, you have that option as well. If I continue to spin it on around, on this side you have the headphone jack, and that's just for if you want to monitor audio. Or the other great benefit to that is that, say if you want to record into a field recorder and into your camera, you can have a backup of the audio. So now I'll move on and just talk about the transmitter. You'll notice that it's really similar to the receiver. It has the same OLED screen on the top, and that's just displaying the channel, the name of the system, the battery level for the transmitter, and then it also has the audio level. And the button next to the screen, whereas over here, if you press that button, it scans for frequencies. Here, that's the mute button. So if I press that, now the system is muted, and where it typically would display the audio level, now it says mute on the transmitter. I can press that again, and we should be back to the lavalier. The microphone connection is a locking 3.5 millimeter, which I believe is the same thing that most Sennheiser systems use. So if you do already have a Sennheiser microphone, there's a good chance that that lavalier would work with this system. And the cool thing about it is that it doesn't have to be a locking 3.5 millimeter to work with this. So if you have any microphone, even like a shotgun microphone that just uses a standard 3.5 millimeter jack, you can plug that straight in and it will work perfectly fine. On the bottom of the transmitter, we have the battery door. This also takes 2 AA batteries, and then next to that we have the USB port. So just like the receiver, the transmitter can also be powered through USB. 2 AA's is going to be the most practical thing, but if you are in a pinch, you have that option for USB power. And on the back, we just have a metal belt clip. So now I'll talk about some of the accessories that come with this system. I've already mentioned the 3.5 to XLR cable that it comes with. It also comes with this little adapter that is very similar to the hot shoe mount that I have the receiver mounted on at the moment. But what it's made for is it can mount directly on top of the receiver. And then if you have multiples of these systems, you can stack multiple receivers on top of each other. The way that I've primarily used it, because I just have one system, is that the receiver, this is the transmitter will mount directly on top. So when I'm not using the transmitter, that just keeps them together, keeps things a little more organized. And last but not least is the all-important carrying case. It has a little handle on the top here. The outside, it feels like a neoprene. I don't know if that's exactly what it's made out of, but that's kind of how it feels. And then if I unzip it, you can see on the inside, it just has a molded foam insert to hold everything exactly where it's supposed to be. So with all of that covered, I'll move the camera in a little bit closer and give you an overview of the menu for the transmitter and receiver. So here is the transmitter, and right now you're hearing camera audio because the transmitter is powered off. But if I press this power button, you will notice that it powers on, and now you should be hearing the lavalier microphone once again. So the set button on the side, that's how you get to the menu. If I hold that down for a minute, it will enter the menu, and at any point, if I just leave that sitting for a few seconds, it will revert back to the main screen. So it will exit the menu just like that. So I'll enter the menu again. So it comes to this brightness screen. I can hit set once again, and that number will start flashing. And I can use the arrows to change the brightness of this screen. I'll keep it at 6 by hitting set once again, and it will tell you that it's stored. Now I can use these arrows again to go to lock and unlock. Basically that will lock all of the buttons if you don't want to risk them being bumped while somebody is using the transmitter. There's advanced menu, so I'll come back to that. The input, so I can change that from mic to line. Next is the power out, so that will affect how much power this is using. If you're using it at farther distances, then you would want to change that to high, but it only has low and high. Next is the channel. You hardly ever have to mess with that because it will auto set by scanning, but if you need to set it manually, you can do it there. So let me just go back to the advanced menu and run through that really quickly. There's pilot, you can turn that on and off. There's reset if you want to reset everything to factory defaults. Mute and latch, you can tell it what kind of power system you're using. If you're using multiples of these, you can change the name of the system just to keep them organized. And then there's also a low cut filter that you can turn on and off. So that's everything in the advanced menu. I can exit that just by tapping the power button, and it will go back to the standard menu. And once again, I can press the power button at any point to go back to the main menu. So this is the receiver, and I'm currently using the lavalier, so you can see on the screen my audio level on the right side of the OLED screen. And there's also the T and the R next to the transmitter and receiver battery indicators. So powering it on and off is exactly the same as the transmitter, and so is entering the menu. So I'm just going to hit that to enter the menu. Most of these are going to be the exact same, but the thing that you will notice is that there is a main out and a phone out. So that changes either the main output here or the headphone jack, depending on which volume you want to control. So you can see there, that's my headphone out. There's the main out. Let me go back into the advanced menu because there are a few differences there as well. Reset, once again, battery, name, all that is the same as the transmitter. So output there, that's the one that you can go into and tell it if you want it to be the phone, if you want to main, or there's a toggle lock there as well. So that's everything in the menu system for the receiver and the transmitter. One thing that I will point out is that because I set the default for the volume controls here to be the main output in the back, if I press the buttons, the up or down arrows, it will change my volume going to the output. So right now it should be getting quieter, and then I will go back up to 0 dB. That's where I like to keep this one. You can go higher than that if you have a really quiet signal. So overall, I've been really impressed with this system in everything from the build quality to the ease of use, the features that it has, even the accessories that it comes with. It's just been a really reliable system. So if you're in the market for an on-camera wireless setup, I would definitely recommend checking out the AWS-2000. I'm going to place links in the description below so you can check out everything that I've talked about in this video. If you found this video helpful, or if you just want to see more videos from us in the future, you can subscribe, and I will see you next time.